Zombie Nation, 1999. What appeared to be a harmless meteorite crashing in the Nevada desert had turned out to be Darkseid, an evil alien creature with horrible powers. By shooting strange magnetic rays, Darkseid had turned the helpless nation into zombies and had brought the Statue of Liberty to life to do his dirty work. These rays had also given him control over many deadly weapons, but none were more powerful than the legendary samurai sword, Shura. When the great head of the samurai, Namakubi, heard that the sword had fallen into evil hands, he set off immediately for the United States, for only he possessed the strength and knowledge needed to recapture the magical sword and free the U.S. from the evil clutches of Darkseid. Irashaimase. Hello and welcome to Fitaurus Kitchen. I'm your host, Chef Fitaurus. It's time once again for Shoot 'em Up Saturday, and on the menu this Saturday we have Zombie Nation. Happy Halloween, everyone, and since it is Halloween, we're celebrating with something themed. So we're playing Zombie Nation, obviously a zombie-themed shoot 'em up for the NES. What kind of taste will it have? Let's get cooking and find out. So as you press start, you're taken to the stage select screen. So it kind of looks like it would be a Mega Man type theme, but it's closer really to the Thunder Force series in the way that it works. You can select any of these 4 stages, and depending on which stage you select, that'll be your stage order. So if you say you start with 2, then you'll play 3, 4, 1 after you complete stage 2. So it goes and has you complete them in a circle, and then once you complete all 4 of them, then you'll be taken to the final stage to run your way through that and then get to the final boss. We also have the ability to change our difficulty setting. There are 2, easy and hard. So for our purposes today, we'll keep it on easy. And that said, let's get cooking! Starting off the game, we're flying around as the disembodied zombie head Namakubi, which literally translates to freshly cut head. A really bizarre protagonist for a shoot 'em up, and especially for what we're actually flying around as. There are a few shoot 'em ups that are just that bizarre in the setting. So, and interestingly, the Japanese version, which came out about a month before the North American release, it wasn't the disembodied samurai head Namakubi that we were playing, but it was actually Tengu Mask. It was a really... So it's really different that we have just that different version between the North American release and the Japanese release. So as far as our mechanics are concerned, we of course have the ability to move around. The movement's a little bit tricky as well, as it's kind of floaty. If you press a direction, you'll actually move not a really precise amount, but it's kind of a jump, as it were, and that makes things a little bit difficult to control. So we have our main shot as well, and holding down the button, we do have a rapid fire in the North American release, but the Japanese version did not have rapid fire, an interesting difference between the 2 versions. So our shot does include a straight shot, as well as bombs, which are basically vomit, as off as that might happen to be. And it's possible to power up our shots as is. You might have noticed that there were humans, which the manual refers to as zombie hostages that fall from the buildings as we destroy them. As we collect those zombie hostages, there's a meter in the bottom right that progresses. Basically the guy running from the arrow to the flag. And if you collect 5 of the zombie hostages, then you'll get a power-up. The first one is the double rapid fire, which is basically doubles your shot speed, as it were. And then the next one we'll get is the triple shot speed, which was really helpful in being able to quickly eliminate the enemies. And if we're able to fill the gauge a 3rd time, we can get the smart bomb. which we fire with the other button, in this case for the NES controller, the A button. So our life is represented by the Namakubi heads that we have in the lower left there. If we take damage, then the heads will turn to skulls. And if all the heads turn to skulls, then it's game over, and we'll be able to continue from the most recent section that we started, as the stages are broken down into sections. That's an important distinction to make, as we even get some benefits from completing sections. So we can recover life if we take damage by your score. So the higher the score, the more points, or rather the more heads you can recover. We have to be careful when moving around though. As you might have noticed, there's all these lightning beams that are coming down. Those are Darkseid's magnetic rays, and if we happen to hit those, our life will be reduced down to 1/8. They can't kill us, but they will make it so that anything we touch, or rather enemy or enemy shot, will kill us. Kind of unfortunate, but if we do happen to touch one of those, we just have to be careful, score some points, and bam, we'll be good. And those are your basic mechanics for Zombie Nation. It's a relatively straightforward shoot 'em up that is definitely notable for its bizarre theming. I can't think of any other shoot 'em up where we're flying around as a disembodied head, named very literally freshly cut head. Alright, we find ourselves at the boss of stage 1. So here's another difference between the American version and the Japanese version. So in the Japanese version, we are facing a red Statue of Liberty, but in the US version, instead of looking like the Statue of Liberty, they have these snakes on her head. It's a really weird choice considering the Statue of Liberty was specifically mentioned in the intro story. Once the stage is defeated, we move on to stage 2. So that completed us 2 sections, so we would have an additional 2 continues to play the game with. The music does change when you find yourselves at low life status, which we currently are in. As you might note, the skulls, we have 7 skulls and only 1 head. One thing I don't like about the boss fights is it removes the life bar, so you don't know where you're at life-wise. And the bosses don't have a life meter either, not that that was common in shoot-em-ups back in this day anyway, so I guess that's just a minor complaint, but not being able to see your own life, that's definitely a problem. And basically, that is Zombie Nation. So minus flavors. Those magnetic rays and the lightning that this stage happens to have are one of the biggest problems that the game has. Initially, I was like losing all my life and dying, and I didn't even know why. And it's interesting, when you die, there's a moonan that goes and pops up from your character that you saw just there. That's basically means regret. So it's like when you die, you're screaming, regret! It's pretty funny if you think about it in that light. But yeah, the magnetic rays here are just like terrible. They'll like reduce your life to basically 1 hit. And in this stage, the entire cloud surface is. So if you're too high in the stage, you'll take a lot of damage. And like I said, initially I didn't even know why I was taking the damage. It was really confusing. And the other minus flavor I really have about the game, I don't like the controls. They're too floaty. If you just tap the button, this is just tapping it. You keep on moving for a set distance, and if you're not used to that, it's really hard to control. And even once you do get used to it, it doesn't allow for the precision that you want in the shoot 'em up. So what kind of plus flavors do we have? Honestly, the bizarre theme and just the weirdness of this title are what I would consider as the plus flavors and why you would want to seek out Zombie Nation, or as it was known in Japan, Aburenbo Tengu. The weird, like, change in theming, just the sheer bizarreness of flying around as the disembodied samurai head fighting like zombies in the United States for early 90s shoot 'em up on the NES. That's weird. Even like by today's standards, that's still something that's really weird. So there we have it. Zombie Nation served up for your enjoyment. It's an odd one, and it might be worth seeking out if you're interested in playing some bizarre NES shoot 'em up. But other than that, I think just knowing that it's out there should be enough. Alright, that'll just about wrap it up for this week's episode of Shoot 'em Up Saturday. A happy Halloween to you, and as always, I look forward to seeing you again next week.